So he had a bike and had like neons on it and air suspension that like went like cheat cheat cheat. And it was the loudest thing I've ever seen in my life. He parked him right out front, and it was crazy. He had a massive front wheel, and he's just trying. I was like, and literally we were all having a laugh about it.
We chased this guy down after the East Rutherford Mud Fest, 250s, 450s there in the mud. And when Max Antsie won the race, I didn't realize, Max, how popular you were within the community of Supercross. And the big deal was, I can't wait to hear and see how Max acts on stage when he gets the trophy. Good to get you in here, bud.
Oh, thank you very much. No, I appreciate it. It's definitely been a long road to get to this point, and to win a race is something special for myself and my team. We're put a good group of people together and done a good job. So we've still got this last round to go, but definitely feeling good and solid so far with how it's all been.
Hey, Max, it's no secret. Yeah, you've had your struggles, but you can ride a bike. I mean, you've proven that you can win and you can compete. But what's been the issue with you to not podium so much? What's the problem?
So, well, I wouldn't say it's a problem. I would say knowing the history of what I've been doing, I went back and raced. I went and raced the World Championship, the MXGP World Championship for I don't know, since 2011, since 2020. So 9 years, 9 seasons of MXGP. Had a lot of success over there. Won the Motocross of Nations in 2017, and that's primarily outdoor based. I mean, that is just all outdoor based motocross. And then I got the opportunity to come back to the States and had this opportunity with the 5-hour Honda team to race the 250. And it's one of those where I always dreamed of racing Supercross when I was younger, and to get this opportunity even later in my career, as it were, I think it's something that I had to grab with both hands and make the most of. And I'm lucky I've been surrounded with a good group of guys, and they've been able to give me a platform that's a package that's competitive with the top guys. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot. It's arguably this is my first full season of Supercross since 2010. I raced a season of Supercross in 2010 when I was 16. Then I went back to Europe and raced, and I've done odd races here and there. I tried to do 450 stuff last year, and then my team ended up folding up halfway through the year. So I didn't really get a good run of it. And this year's been the first time that I've done a full 250 championship and been able to get the ball rolling and get some good results like we've had.
You reference World Motocross, World Supercross. There's now Super Motocross going on. Is it destructive to the sport to have so many different sanctioning bodies, so many different series going on? Or is it healthy and we need these series to be competing healthily against each other?
I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I think at the end of the day, America is the land of Supercross, and as a kid, all over the world, I'm from the UK, I'm from England. You dream of getting to America and racing Supercross. It's a long way away, and it's far, and it's hard to do. And how do you get there? How is the road to get there? Now there is this World Supercross Championship, which is allowing fans and kids from all over the place to be able to see that. I'm going back home to England to race. The first round is in Birmingham. It's an hour away from where I live. Germany, France, you've got all over the place. Australia, Canada. Supercross worldwide is what the sport needs, definitely. And then there's the difference between outdoors. There's obviously the US outdoors and then the World Motocross Championship. It's good. I honestly think I think it's good for the sport. I think it's definitely the Supercross world. The World Supercross Series is going to grow Supercross, just getting fans from other countries. It still doesn't take anything away from the US Supercross. US Supercross is the top of the top, and it's where everyone wants to win and be at. But definitely being able to race Supercross worldwide is something very special, and hopefully can elevate the image of the sport in these other countries. In the US, Supercross is viewed as a big sport. It's professional athletes. From where I'm from in England, no one really knows about it. No one really necessarily cares unless you're in the sport. Whereas now it'll be nice to bring a bit more light to that.
No, that's a great perspective and maybe it's just us in the States. We want everything to compete. That's just our mentality. So yeah, this is more opportunities for people and more awareness for the world. So I like that comparison. Now, where did you hone your mud skills? Let's just get back to it. Where in the world were you able to ride so damn well in the slop?
Well, I'm from England.
Yeah.
I did do some research on the weather. It rains a lot.
Go.
But I mean, it's one of the watch any Disney movie or anything where they go to England. It's always raining. But it honestly, the mud, it can be, you can be really lucky or you can not be lucky. You can crash in the first turn, it's all over, or you can get mud in your goggles, whatever. But I was very surprised. The Dirtworks crew, the track guys there, did a great job because the track was still raceable. Like, we would jump in the jumps. It wasn't like, yes, it was wet, but we were able to jump. Like, it was weird. I was kind of expecting it to be like just a bog and everyone's getting stuck. And we went out there and I was lucky enough to whole shot. And I'm like thinking, man, do I triple this? Do I double this? Do I send this? Because I don't know how soft this is going to be, but the track was fine. The track actually, our lap times are only 10 seconds a lap slower than, I think, it might even been closer than that, than what they were when they were dry. So it wasn't, although it was wet, it wasn't terrible, which was a great testament to the crew to do the work on the track. I think they've done a great job.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
Max Antsie, something you said earlier resonated with me about going to a new team. I know if you keep waking up in the morning, you're not going to remember things. And I know when you get to this new team, you don't know everybody's name. You don't know the boss from the guy who gets the coffee in the morning. How long does it take for that to happen? And what's the frustration level while it's happening?
That's a good question. That's actually not one that that's not a question that gets asked much. But I mean, honestly, a year is short. It takes. I personally, I've been with this team nearly a year now, and it's taken this long to gel with everyone. No, not when you're pushing people's buttons or how to get the best out of the group of people around you. That's one side of things. The vibe, how to get the best out of the crew when things are not going. So it's easy when you're doing well, everyone's happy. But when you're not, it's pulling everyone together. The other side of it is the bike and the bike and the settings on the bike. It takes a long time, and also it doesn't matter how many practice laps you do. When you get to a race, it's always going to feel a little different. So it takes the full season to get your notes. I mean, just before I came on here, I was writing my notes down from today because I was doing a load of testing. It's the team do that, but I do it myself as well, because then next year, when I look back on East Rutherford when it was dry, I can go, oh, this is the settings I ran. This is how I felt. This, and this. It's hard to do that when you're always switching bikes and switching teams. You can't go from a Kawasaki to a Honda and go, oh, this setting's going to work from that bike to that, because it doesn't. So I think consistency with that is key, and I also think consistency with the people around you, mechanics, engineers, being able to come in and go, there's a problem, and they trust you, or going or if you're not feeling it that day, just they can go, oh, you don't look super comfortable. Maybe we're going to change this because we know this worked in the past. Definitely when you first get to a team, if you turn around and say to them, this thing sucks, and there's definitely a problem with it. They're looking at you like, what? And then the thing goes and breaks. It's like, okay, you should have trusted me. Now it takes a year or so to build that trust and win together, lose together. I think that's the most important thing, and you learn as we're going.
A year, wow! So most people don't understand, if they're not involved in athletic competition, they don't understand the chemistry that's behind the scenes. They always say the bike's not fast enough, or the rider's not good enough, but it's the chemistry, isn't it, that is maybe half of what's going on, the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's again, that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, your perception of your environment is your reality, not your environment itself. You could be on, and I've actually had this in the past. I've been on a team that's the best looking team. They got a Ferrari in the workshop. You could eat your food off the floor. The first year of the team, the vibe was great. Everything was good. Everything's happy. The next year, the crew didn't change, the team didn't change, but the vibe changed. And then it was like, oh, hold on, I wasn't feeling it with a couple of things. I'm like, what's different? Well, it's the chemistry, and that really is an important part. And that's why, me being a little older, I respect and appreciate my crew, my firepower on the team. From the outside, many people have said to me, oh, you're doing well, you're getting podiums, you're doing this, you're doing that. Are you going to go to a factory team, or are you going to go and do this or do that? And even teams have called me and asked me for next year for a ride. And I've straight up said to them, I said, look, guys, I said, you're going to have to do something really special if you want me to jump ship. Because honestly, I'm happy with my crew. And for me, people are more important than even money. I mean, of course, money is nice, but if you feel good and you're happy, you get results, you make money. Whereas someone could come up to you and go, oh, I'm going to give you X amount of money to ride for this team and this bike. But if you don't like it, you're not going to get results. And then the year after, you're not going to make any money because everyone thinks you suck. So it's the whole picture for sure. And definitely, you've got to be able to work the right way with people. Even my crew right now, I've got Martin Davalos and Yuriv Konski, he's the boss over in Australia, and Martin Davalos is an ex-rider. He's the team manager. Man, there's days in the week where we're butting heads. I'm telling him you're wrong, and he's telling me I'm wrong. But 10 minutes later, we're like, right, we're doing this to build together. We're not doing it as my way or the highway. It's we're all trying to go in the right direction, and it's a healthy, constructive way to work forward, and that's something that works with me. Of course, I've been with teams that it doesn't work like that, and it's like my way or the highway. You do what you're told, otherwise leave. So it's definitely the chemistry is important.
You take car maintenance seriously, and you want to pass on that legacy of care. Use Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer to shield your engine from excessive heat, debris, and friction. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
There's so many things I could touch with you. I know that you at one time ran on a Husqvarna. When I think of Husqvarna, do you know the history of Husqvarna and motocross? I'm sure you do, right?
Yeah,
right?
From back in Sweden and the old, they've come a long way. Let's put it that way.
I don't need to get into the minutia of that, but you're looking at a guy that had a Brad Lackey poster on his wall in the 70s, and Brad Lackey, Kent Howerton, Heike Mikkola, those dudes put Husqvarna on the map in the outdoors. So I don't need to get into all that. What I do need to get into, my friend, is the EPL Championships coming up, and you're probably an Aston Villa fan, right?
Oh well, we're actually going to race Aston in the Villa Park Stadium for World Supercross in a couple of months. So I can be an Aston Villa fan. To be honest, we're all in our own little bubble, and football is. I've watched Manchester United before. I watched Manchester United v Marseille in France, in the French side. Wasn't allowed to speak because I was in the French side and couldn't speak a word of French, and I didn't really want to let anyone know that I'm English. But yeah, got to respect anyone that's at the top of their game in any sport.
That's too bad, because when I do speak to motorsports stars, even some in Formula One, they say the same thing. They are so ensconced in their own motorsports bubble that they can't roll with me on conversations when it comes to the EPL. So I won't go Arsenal or Man City. Okay, come on, Arsenal or Man City? Who do you want to win the championship?
So I toss a coin. I don't know.
Kenny, he trains as a high-end athlete for a living. He doesn't have time to sit his butt on a couch and watch matches.
I could be completely wrong with this, but isn't Man City? I think Manchester United's red. I was saying Arsenal's always blue, right? So was that Chelsea's? But I don't know. I was thinking the red one.
Look, you know what? It's kind of a great, and here's a great point. What you just said. The English Premier League and their teams and their team colors, they were typical for so many years. They had like home and away, but they've changed colors up so much to where you don't necessarily know who the team is at the time. You've got to look up at the ledger. And it's the same thing with motorcycles, man. Yeah. Suzuki was yellow at one time. Yamaha was yellow. Honda was red. But now I don't know what the hell you guys are riding because of the change. I know it's a KTM. Ain't nobody going to go orange but a KTM. But can the freaking manufacturers get their colors straight, damn it?
Yeah, I know, and to be honest, we've had a few races this year. I had a white bike this year. I've had a black bike this year, and I literally they had the St. Jude graphics, which were black and their kind of style, and then they had the camo for military appreciation in Tampa, and it was crazy. I've been looking down at my fender, going, "Oh, I got a red one, I got a black one, I got a white one this week." It's all over the place.
All right, Max Antsie joining us here in the Freak Nation. East Rutherford winner in the Mudfest, East-West shootout, put a beat down on the Lawrence brothers. But more importantly, did your mom have something to do? It's Mother's Day here in the States. I don't know what the hell you have over in England. But,
yeah, I know. It's different. I literally I was thinking about that the other day. I don't know why. Father's Day is the same, I'm pretty sure. Mother's Day is completely different. I think Mother's Day in England's in March. I mean, I should know this, but I don't. But no, of course, my mom was influential. She was over a few weeks ago. She got to come to Daytona to watch me race, and she the flight from the UK over to the East Coast of America is not too bad. So of course, she was an influential part in my career growing up and allowing me to do what I do. And now, now I've got a little guy. He's only one, and my wife's coming with me this weekend to the race, and it's Mother's Day from the little guy. So it's definitely a special one this weekend for Mother's Day, and I'm just excited to be here in America and a part of it in the States. Definitely.
What did your mom think of the rednecks in Daytona Beach when she came over?
Yeah, she was dead. So my teammate Gage, his dad had a bike because it was bike week. So he had a bike and it had like neons on it and air suspension that like went like cheat cheat cheat. And it was the loudest thing I've ever seen in my life. He parked it right out front, and it was crazy. He had a massive front wheel, and he's just I was like, and literally we were all having a laugh about it. But there was some pretty wild people there and some fans there for Bike Week.